Hello, Internet. Mr. BPG here. And shouting into the other room is Mrs. BPG. And we are live from our virtual studio in the imaginary space of the once and former projection booth from back when I was a 35 millimeter booth monkey. If you're interested in the booth monkeys, thank you for tuning in. I am trying to claim the Thursday evening slot sometime around this time, between 6 and 7 every week. I'd like to be able to go live so that you guys have an opportunity to follow along as this project goes into pre production, as we continue to develop the IP further. And we go on to our next set here. So, again, I am Mr. BPG on the YouTubes. Today, we are trying to do the Booth Monkeys intro channel page and just go live kind of on a weekly basis, getting an update to anybody who's there online. Personal shout out if you're online and part of the team that seems to be there, just trying to make my life more difficult and make sure that I can't network and communicate with people and use this free and open space freely. Please leave. Please stop bothering me forever. I don't appreciate anything you've done to make my life more difficult. And it's because of the experience I've had with you, which makes it nearly impossible for me forever to go back into the working world and forever to be anti-work with the amount of stories I have of just the way you treat humans and people, and how much you're willing to use people to get what you want. Those of you who love money and love other things are not welcome with me. I mean, we want money, we work for money, we do money, but we don't work for it. We don't make that our number one goal, and we don't let it rule our lives or work for people who let it rule their lives. So thank you for watching. Let's see. We are going to go and try to record a direct, clean read of this intro. The goal of it being is I'd like to have some sort of channel intro that every time you turn into the channel for the first time, whether you're on Rumble or whether on the YouTubes and you turn into the channel for the first time, I would like to have that option of making it available for you to see the channel and know what it's about. Because one of the most common things I hear about when I talk about the concept is, well, then what is a booth monkey? And well, Booth Monkey is a nickname given to us who were projectionists in the late 2000s or early 2000s and late 90s. It was just a code name for a group of us that worked together up here in the 35 millimeter booth, just working magic on the tail end of the film production. For those of you who don't know, I've been carrying this idea of making a movie titled Booth Monkeys for years. The truth is I just hadn't experienced enough life, and the goings on of life hadn't happened firm enough around me to make the story worth telling. So we're finally at a stage now where things in life have caught up to my goals in life, caught up with my ability to script, caught up with my life experience, and now we're here trying to make a movie called The Booth Monkeys. The movie itself is a wonderful look into the working world and sort of a ray of hope and inspiration for a 21st century style revival of the small business movement that the internet started and boomed and then sort of fizzled out. To move away from this corporate run structure that seems to own the planet and seems to make all the decisions and choices, and hopefully, inspire more people to join that small business side of life, and we can, along the way, maybe even save a property that's on its way out. But that's future talk. Today we're talking about the intro of what is a booth monkey. So. And then why a Booth Monkeys review show. So if you're tuning into the show, thanks for watching the Booth Monkeys. I am Mr. BPG, Booth Monkey 1. There will be other Booth Monkeys to follow. And I'd like to say we are something of a special group of people in the sense that we were at the very end of a very expensive business model, which survived from exhibiting movies on a weekly basis in the theaters. And there were a large group of large companies all competing for space and time on the weekends into these theaters. And there were also a group of smaller companies trying to compete in the expensive space and produce their own content. Those movies all funneled into the projection booth, and then we as the projectionists were dutied to put the pieces back together, usually just labeled 1 through 6 or 1 through 7, very easy stuff. But we would put the pieces back together, load it into a film projector, and then exhibited it for the people paying for tickets. Early on, then, I learned that as a business model that is quite successful, from the highest level of corporate and the type of movies they make to the lowest level of independent, when I actually saw people literally carrying their movie from theater to theater to exhibit in that theater, setting up tables and being able to promote and sell themselves. Shout out to a movie called The Debut, something I plan on reviewing later. We as booth monkeys were in a privileged position where we were being paid to watch every movie that Hollywood had to put out. And in many cases, every movie that came through our building, whether it was Hollywood or not. We saw a lot of movies out of New York, a lot of movies out of Independence. I even worked at a theater that would receive movies from India, which were classic because they came in burlap sacks and boxes compared to the metal cans we shipped ours in. The Booth Monkey had a special opportunity to be able to watch the cinema alone in a quiet space, being able to absorb what the art of cinema really was about at the time. And in doing so, we got to see some of the best movies. And being able to see some of the movies allows us to kind of be somewhat of an authority on what movies that you should watch. So if you hadn't made it to this channel, it might be because you're like me. You are now in a state where there are so many options to watch, whether you're watching on Netflix, Amazon Prime, or even staying here on the YouTubes or the Rumbles with all the content we produce here. There are websites after websites offering subscription-based content, and as I remember, the best way to ever find out what's worth watching is to ask somebody who knows. Ask one of those special kind of nerds that make a living just watching movies and enjoying them. And, there's options to choose from. Sure, you could go ahead and flip through a menu. You could look at all the icons or look at their little teasers. But do you really want to go to a website and look at just someone else's reviews and numbers, risk spoiling it for you? I actually don't know what I'm doing here as a booth monkey. This is where I would cut if I was a director and be like, all right, cut the take. Guy's rambling. Doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Truth is that you could trust the computer algorithms to give you suggestions, or you could trust us, the booth monkeys, who are going to cue you in on the best movies that you probably never missed. That you probably where's my fix it in post edit from Booth Monkeys episode 1. So if you're just joining the Booth Monkeys, thanks for joining. We do have 12 episodes worth of content available on the internet already. It is a 12-episode read-through from beginning to end of the screenplay, starring yours truly and others, reading through the greater elements of the screenplay and then giving my social and director's commentary as to why these scenes exist. That already exists. We're currently working on some more content like that. Our first episode was going to be teased right here. Can't wait to get it out there. We're going to be covering.
Frank! Are you okay?
Never felt better in my life. How are you?
I'm good. Good.
That's right. This is a Martin Scorsese classic that you probably didn't even know exist. Bringing out the dead. Why? Because over the next year, I'm going to be spending this time looking back at some of the movies that you may not have known existed, that you didn't catch when they were live, and they just sort of exist out in the ether as being great works of art. I'm also going to review some of the older stuff that maybe some of the people who didn't grow up like I did maybe missed. I love the joke they used in Rick and Morty recently where she says, "Of course I've never seen Die Hard, I'm just a kid," which is actually pretty true. When I realize now that my kids are at an age where I can start introducing them to works of art that they may not have seen before because they didn't live in the same timeline and time path I have. So hopefully you'll be able to come to me and this channel and the Booth Monkeys as a way to find entertainment for the story that is the Booth Monkeys, but also really just finding a place to find where to find the best movies. God, there's way too many finds in that. This is where it'd be more fun to read off a script. Going forward, we do plan to read off of a script. This is just me, Mr. BPG, going live to everybody and nobody, trying to essentially get this to work, because I have spent many years now working across multiple industries, and I've seen some very consistent things, and it's a lot of people who are stressed out and burnt out and just barely surviving and having a lot of pressure put on them by everything in and large. And I think Bringing Out the Dead, referencing the first movie we're going to do next week, is that perfect reference of what it's like to be capable of making a great work of art that is so ahead of its time and so in your face with its reality that most people just didn't know what to do with it and chose not to watch it. Plus, there's always a great competition for your eyes. As if you didn't know, there is a war going on for your mind. So, yeah, what do we think of this background? I was working on this earlier. I'm just going to go play in the background now since I'm doing a goofy live stream and I don't really know who's checked in other than my wife, who is literally physically around me, but she likes to support me online too. Thank you. If any people from that social media want to join in, I appreciated it. What I've learned over the years is that social media builds layer by layer, person by person, and it's usually you bringing on another person into your show, and then them being the person who, how would you say, them being that person whose audience is the one that you end up sharing and meeting new people with, and it turns into a cross pollination of people and audiences. So, all right, let's give this one a try. Hello, Internet. Mr. BPG here, and I am now in the other half of our production studio trying to create a shot reverse shot. I've only got the first camera set up, but in future episodes, it's probably going to look something like this, where I'm talking one direction, and you kind of see what I got going on, and then really quickly we're just going to go, bam! Now I'm talking over here, and I'm talking to this camera, and then showing the behind the scenes of the booth. We're actually in the earliest stages of pre-production here with the Booth Monkeys, trying to secure locations. We're in the location scout portion of pre-production, and I've already found a really nice location. I would love to show it to you, but we're going to save that for other Booth Monkeys episodes, and I don't want to speak out and then have it, sort of like drop. But the idea being is that eventually we're going to have a full-on projection booth to have one background, two backgrounds, and them not being just this digital green screen backgrounds, but actual legitimate locations. Because the location I've scouted is perfect for what we're trying to do here at the Booth Monkeys. So I'm excited to see how this location scout goes as we go into it, leading into the next week. So, the best way to pick a movie has always been to ask a movie nerd if you know anything to suggest. As a projectionist, we're exposed to many movies and have a keen knowledge of which movies are worth your time, worth watching, and which are the undercover that you didn't see, or maybe we have a different perspective on the movie that you have seen that you maybe haven't thought of before. We're going to provide all of that to you in a new, unique style, which is kind of my style, a little bit more to the point, direct, not trying to necessarily do an entire video essay on the project, but really just point out, holy crap, this is some good stuff, and have you ever thought about this? And just, I guess, essentially try to copy and capture what has always been told to me throughout my life when I'm in situations where we're having conversations with groups of people, which is, hey, this conversation is so interesting to us in the room, we should really be broadcasting this to the wide world. So eventually there will be Booth Monkeys 2 and 3 in the room here, and we'll be really developing some stuff. So this channel exists because if you're unsure of what movie is worth your time, or you weren't born with blah, 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 I wrote a bunch of stuff for this, and as I'm reading the intro, all I can say is all of these are my ideas. These are my thoughts and my opinions. They have not been paid for. They have not been bought. They are not owned by anyone. This is strictly the tumors in my head telling me what to say. So I hope you enjoy the Booth Monkeys reviews. Thank you for any support you provided so far. Like I said, if you haven't seen the 12 episodes, it is basically a nearly 5-hour long movie about the movie. And while it is a lot of me talking, I think if you are okay with watching me talk and you kind of let yourself get into it, I do say a lot of stuff that is about as best as I can say it at this point. I have spent years working in and out of some really shady corners, and I kind of just want to get back to being in charge of my life and myself, producing the content that I want to produce, and hopefully entertaining you along the way with the best damn stories possible. because Booth Monkeys is just the first of actually a few that we've got lined up here. It's just the one that I decided to commit myself to last year, and have been continuing to develop it all year into where it is now. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Tune in next week as I'm going to try my best to record the episode talking about Bringing Out the Dead, a Martin Scorsese classic that you probably haven't seen. I do look forward to being able to. As possible, as well as promoting myself and the people that I love and live with. Shout out Seven Talents for getting a lot of this stuff ready to go that we're able to go live. Sure appreciate everything you've done over the years. Shout out to my wife, who's always been supportive, both watching the streams and listening to my bullshit, but also providing me with the capability to continue to produce bullshit for you and make my YouTube poops, and also hopefully come across something meme worthy. Shout out to Evie Mux, who has been the software I've been using to use this broadcaster, making it possible for me to have my random backgrounds, to be able to chroma ski, to be able to do all the things that I've done with this editor so far. And shout out to you, the viewer. Thank you for watching. I know you've had a lot of choices to watch when it comes to the world of media. So if you took any time to enjoy this night with me, thank you very much. If you happen to catch this in a previous stream, get caught up. I've been working on Booth Monkeys for a year now. There's plenty of content for you to see. Tune in next week as we are going to do a full recording of the first episode of the Booth Monkeys Reviews, where we will be reviewing our first story and kind of talking about it and having that conversation that hopefully you enjoy. And we'll see where this goes. In the meantime, what can I say? But I'm fine. How are you? No, that was stupid. This is where I've been working on one. I just think I used to borrow the Homer Simpson was if you don't see me again, avenge my death. Because I've always been waiting for that moment where they decide they're tired of me and would rather repossess my organs than allow me to be successful. And then I really just at this point on the internet just say thanks for watching, but that's so generic. So live epically and live honestly. Live for life. Live for love. Do not hate. Do not hoard. And do not hurt. Booze monkeys. Blah 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 blah. No, I don't need your help. Once upon a time, people traveled to a building to see the greatest golden age in Hollywood. Hello, Captain No Fun. You'll help. I'll get in the way. Set up the backdrop here for this next recording, so I don't look too ruggish. That's your contribution. Huh? Get licking the phone, pushing it around. This is where it all started. Classic film projector. And this film splicer, which I used over the years to craft my projects and get better and better at what I do over the years. Hello, Internet. Mr. BPG here. And relaxing with the dogs while I finally go balls deep into projects that I want to do. So, as you know, and you've seen me over the years releasing various things, it was all based on the various parts of my life that I was into. when I first started releasing for myself on my own channel, that was just an expression way of reaching out to my kids, because through the divorce I had lost track of time with them, and it's become harder and harder over the years to even get in touch with them the way I wanted to. Now I'm reaching an age where it's time that I start demanding more of myself and the people around me. Start making actual money, start buying homes, start, just going all in on what I know that I'm capable of, versus just kind of accepting the little bits that are given to me. Demanding more out of my time, and just being in general a better producer of media to the best of my ability. In this series, I'm going to focus on trying to create the Booth Monkeys script and present it to you from this writing desk in this presentation space. You okay, little guy? Sounded like an engine going over. Something ain't wrong in the mirrors, are they? As you know, it's been tough for me over the years having to jump between what we would call the survival jobs that, help pay the bills and keep the lights on, versus being the creative artist that I am and want to be. So the reason I'm reluctant to this is because every single time I've tried to produce the Booth Monkeys, things have gone weird. First time I tried to produce it, my wife began what she began doing. She became the ex-wife because of it. Thank you for the camera assist, Tyga. Coming and inspecting my workstation here. Moving my camera around. Don't look at me like that. I know you love me. Then I came out here and tried my best to remake the story again when I was actually working at a full-time job working at a movie theater. And I put together a team, and I got a business plan written. I had everything ready to go. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And then right as I'm getting ready to promote and produce this business plan, I lost the job. And that went back to survival job, went back to just figuring out how I make it, and none of that worked out the way I wanted to, and it just became a bunch of years of me avoiding the project. I'm so fucking ADHD right now. Then as I got older, actually, that's not looking too bad at all. I just gotta get rid of that fucking Marlon Brando tits. She's looking at me jiggle. Lola, leave it. The girl leaves it. You gonna go get it? Find it. It's over there now. So every time I wanted to make the Booth Monkeys, something weird would happen in my life. And every time I developed it further, something weird would happen in my life. And every time I tried to do anything, something weird would happen. And honestly, I really don't feel well lately, as busy as I've been, as hard as I've been working, and just kind of what I put myself the past few years of working 60, 70-hour weeks, not getting the overtime, and just really not seeing my life get any better. It's time to make that change, so I will be presenting this Booth Monkey script in 3 acts across 12 episodes. I will do my best to just read the script directly to try to create the feeling of the story, and then have a little bit of recap at the end of each episode. The main goal is that I just want to put this out there and hopefully find the right audience for it to start building the attention it needs to get that business plan going again, to get it in front of the right people, and to get this first big budget project started for me, kind of moving me out of the lower tier budgets into more of a medium tier budget, and being able to earn back the money to my debtors and family and friends that I need to make to just be the better person I can be. So please enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. I'll be doing this once a month over the year, and probably be pulling it off of the internet once I get the right attention that I need. But until further ado, Booth Monkeys. Of the screenplay read through. But here's the actual business that I'm trying to get to. As we zoom in, the Booth Monkeys is a 3-part thing. It's a movie lover movie about movie lovers, and it's become a lot more than that. In addition to being a screenplay that I wrote once upon a time, I'm writing a business plan to turn it into a movie. We have done 12 episodes worth of a read-through, and there's still going to be a clean read-through of the script. We're also working on a new idea for movie onlines and show promotion. But that's all based on the investment we want to make at this spot right here. Inside the mall, there is a perfectly functioning looking theater, which shouldn't take much to get going. I kind of want to do what we do in the movie. I want to take over a movie theater and actually act out the concept they pitch earlier on in the movie, where we get a movie theater and we decorate it to make the Booth Monkeys movie inside of it. And then once it's ready to go, well, it's a 21st century film theater. This is located in the center of a major hub of all things. We're in a mega city now with all the sprawl that we have. There's no reason why we shouldn't have some attractions at this big empty mall. And I realize that what this area has a ton of is big business. What it doesn't have a lot of is small business. And I think it's time we gave these mall spaces back to the small business. Once we get the theater decorated and dressed up for the Booth Monkeys, we might as well continue to exhibit movies. I love the idea of having a 365-day-a-year theater that is basically an archive of old film prints that plays these film prints all throughout the year based on whatever the popular season is. We've already got a location that's completely empty but perfectly decorated to be the theater for the Booth Monkeys. I would love to do exactly what we say we're going to do in the Booth Monkeys, which is take over a small location and then promote businesses from within, creating new projects, creating a creator space in some of the bigger spaces that are not being occupied by these major corporations anymore, and try to create generally a business hub for small businesses with lots of on-site help. There should be the FedEx or some sort of shipping assistance, packaging. Boy, we're going to need some tax help. I wonder which one of those corporations wants to jump in and have a bunch of tax specialists there to help all these new small businesses as they try to make their way in. Because the truth is, this mall's been empty for a while. And if anything this movie is truly about, it's about figuring out what the modern American dream is and finding a way to do it. And that's what we here at the Booth Monkeys are trying to do. There are big open spaces. That old Sears property looks pretty tame for possible creator studio. Space where we can set up empty recording spaces, green screen walls, basically that small business idea that the guys are talking about in the theater. Episode 12 is my call to action. At this point, if you're seeing this, I've probably been a part of your life in some minor or major way. Minor for you, major for me, major for you, minor for me. It's really hard to tell at this point. And the truth is I would love for you to share this video. I would love for this video to get in front of the right people. And I would love for the production to start rolling with people who understand how to manage this side of my talents to produce large profits. Not that I actually want any of it for myself, because again, I'm happy with what I have and the way I have it. I don't go into life desiring more. I'm content, but at the same time, I want to be able to grow. I want to be able to leave businesses, homes, and continued passive income through my content for those I care for, while hopefully inspiring others to follow that same path. Every day I come home exhausted, wondering, when am I going to put my foot down and say, this is the way? Just trust me to make this project. Allow me to work and exhaust myself in the background the way I am. I'm getting along pretty well with pets and having a great experience in my second course of adult education and advancement in my career. Will you leave my ties alone? This is the call to action. At this point, it's me, Mr. BPG. I've been trying to make this movie for years, and never before have I had the life currency I needed to tell the story that is worth listening to, and now I finally do. We've got a perfect location lined up. We just need you to get on board as our investors. A sincere call out to all of those that I've touched over the years, those friends, or those colleagues, or, those coworkers, or hell, even some of those I taught along the way. Thank you for your support thus far. I'm legitimately calling out to you saying, hey, this is our time to team up. Let's join this team. Let's join Team Booth Monkeys. Let's, sign a petition to save a business in a local community. Let's draw people out to communicate and be with each other in closeness. Let's make some movies, make some love, make some drama, make some money along the way, hopefully. Hopefully together we can make something great. So did you get it? The soldiers are the guys chasing me. They're constantly over my shoulder. They don't show up to the end of the video, but then they're there at the end to save the day. Thank you for supporting the Booth Monkeys. I tricked you. I was never in a booth at all. I was in a room the whole time. I was in a room with all of the toys, with all these wonderful toys. I was never in a booth at all. Thank you. Thank you. Kisses.